A love that began in childhood. A bond unbroken, but some secrets are too heavy to bear. This is the story of Zain and Alia. From the very first days of their childhood, Zain and Alia's lives had been woven together like threads in the same fabric. They were cousins, born into a middle-class family where love and simplicity were the greatest treasures. Zain, even as a little boy, was quiet, thoughtful, and shy. He had big, searching eyes that seemed to carry questions about the whole world. He rarely argued, rarely complained. Instead, he carried every burden quietly inside himself, even at an age when most children only thought of toys and games. Alia, on the other hand, was the opposite. She was cheerful, lively, and full of warmth. Her smile had the power to brighten the dullest of days. She loved everyone, laughed easily, and spoke with kindness. Where Zain was silence, Alia was music. Where Zain hesitated, Alia pushed forward with courage. Their bond began in the simplest of places, the schoolyard. They sat on the same bench, shared pencils and erasers, and often walked home together holding their little school bags. What started as innocent childhood companionship slowly grew into something deeper, something neither of them could name at the time. As the years passed, their connection only grew stronger. During high school, Zain would quietly watch over Alia, protecting her from a distance without ever asking for credit. He was shy, but his love showed in small gestures, carrying her books, walking an extra mile just to make sure she reached home safely, or sacrificing his own happiness to see her smile. Alia, too, had begun to notice that her heart felt lighter whenever Zain was near. She admired his kindness, his silent strength, and the way he always thought of others before himself. She often teased him for being too serious, yet, deep inside, she cherished that same seriousness because she knew it came from love. By the time they entered university, their childhood bond had blossomed into something undeniable. Zain pursued engineering, while Alia followed her dream of becoming a doctor. Their paths were different, but their hearts were aligned. Even though their schedules were busy and demanding, they found time for each other. Study sessions turned into long conversations. Walks across campus became their moments of peace, and every shared laugh, every exchanged glance, every whispered word pulled them closer into a love that was pure, unshakable, and deep. For Zain, Alia was no longer just his cousin. She was his light, his hope, the reason behind his silent prayers at night. And for Alia, Zain was not just a companion from childhood. She was her comfort, her strength, the one she dreamed of standing beside for the rest of her life. They began to dream of a future together, Zain as an engineer, Alia as a doctor, two lives united by love, building a home filled with warmth and laughter.
I love these old temples. They feel so peaceful,
Me too.
especially with you.
Their families often noticed the closeness between them, but for a long time, no one objected. After all, who could deny the beauty of such a bond? It seemed like a fairy tale was unfolding, step by step, from childhood innocence to youthful passion. But hidden in the shadows of destiny, a storm was slowly gathering, and though neither Zain nor Alia could see it yet, their love was about to be tested in a way that would break hearts and shake lives forever. But just when life seemed to promise happiness, things began to change. Zain, once the shy but gentle soul who carried love quietly in his heart, started to act differently. At first, it was small things. He seemed tired, withdrawn, distracted. He laughed less. He stayed quiet, even in moments where he once smiled. Soon, his silence turned into irritation. He snapped at family members, argued over the smallest things, and worst of all, he pushed Alia away. "Why do you always follow me?" he once said harshly, though his heart broke even as the words left his lips. Alia was stunned. She had never heard Zain speak to her that way. At first, she thought it was stress, maybe the pressure of work as a young engineer. She tried to comfort him, tried to stay patient, but the more she reached for him, the further he pulled away. The family began to notice too. They whispered amongst themselves, worried about Zain's strange behavior. A once gentle boy had become distant, restless, and angry. Alia's heart ached most of all. She loved Zain more than life itself, and now he seemed determined to make her hate him. She cried in silence, wondering, why is he doing this? What pain is he hiding from me? At times, Zain would disappear into his room for hours. Sometimes I saw him trembling with fever. I begged him to show his medical reports, but he always brushed it aside with excuses. "It's nothing, just stress. Don't worry about me." But Alia could feel something was deeply wrong. Her soul told her that Zain was hiding something. Then, one evening, everything changed. Zain collapsed in his room, his body weak with illness. He refused help, insisting that he would go to the hospital alone. And so, quietly, without telling anyone, he checked himself into a hospital far from home. There, in the privacy of a small room, he told the doctor everything. He told him about his sickness, about the weakness eating away at his body, and most of all, about the promise he needed from the doctor, that no one, not even his family, should know the truth. "I don't want them to suffer," Zain whispered, "especially Alia. If she knew, it would destroy her." The doctor listened, his eyes heavy with pity. He agreed to Zain's desperate request. Days turned into weeks, and Zain's visits to the hospital became more frequent. But whenever Alia asked where he had been, he gave vague answers, sometimes even lies, just to keep her away from the storm brewing inside his body. And then, one morning, Zain was gone. He disappeared from home without a word, leaving behind a silence so heavy it broke everyone's heart. The family searched everywhere, called friends, relatives, even the police, but there was no sign of him. Alia was devastated. She clutched his belongings, cried into his pillow at night, and prayed endlessly for his return. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and still there was no trace of Zain. Every corner of the house felt empty without him. Every memory stabbed at her heart like 1,000 knives. And yet, deep inside, Alia refused to give up hope. She believed somehow, somewhere, Zain was still out there. But fate had already written a painful truth, a truth waiting in the shadows, hidden in Zain's silence, sealed in the secret he carried. The truth that would only be revealed in his final goodbye. Months had passed, since Zain disappeared, and life in the family had turned into an endless wait. Every knock at the door made hearts race. Every ringing phone carried a faint hope. Maybe it was Zain. Maybe he was coming back. But hope began to fade. Only Alia clung to it with every breath. She whispered his name in her prayers. She cried into the silence of her room, and she dreamed of the day she would see him again. And then the day finally came. A call arrived from a distant hospital. The words were simple, but they fell like thunder. "Please come. It's about Zain." The family rushed to the hospital, fear heavy in their hearts. Alia's hands trembled as she walked through the cold corridors, her heart beating so loud it drowned every sound around her. And there, in a quiet hospital room, Zain lay motionless, his face pale, his body still, his soul already gone. Alia froze, her world shattered in a single heartbeat. She fell to her knees, tears flooding her eyes, unable to breathe, unable to believe. The boy she had loved since childhood, her soulmate, her future, was gone. Beside his bed, the doctor stood silently. With gentle hands, he handed Alia an envelope. "This is from Zain. He asked me to give it to you." With shaking fingers, Alia opened the letter. Inside, Zain's handwriting trembled across the page. His last words, his final truth. "My dearest Alia, if you are reading this, I am gone. Forgive me for every harsh word, for every time I pushed you away. I never stopped loving you, not for a single heartbeat. I pushed you away because I could not bear to see your eyes filled with pity or sorrow for me. Years ago, after graduation, I went to that hospital to donate blood, to help a stranger in need. I believed then that giving was a duty, that helping would change a life. But because of careless negligence at that place, the syringe used to draw my blood had been reused. By chance, it had been used before on a patient who was living with HIV. I was infected. I carried that truth alone. I begged the doctor to keep it secret, to let you live untouched by my illness. I thought if you hated me, if you could start again without me, your life would be gentler. I was wrong to hide it. I only wanted to protect you, and in doing so, I robbed you of the chance to stand by me. Alia, I loved you more than life itself. I am sorry for the pain my silence caused. Live your life fully. Fulfill your dreams as a doctor. Remember me kindly, not as a burden, but as someone who loved you until his last breath. Forever yours, Zain."
By the time Alia finished reading, her tears had soaked the paper. Her cries echoed through the hospital walls, breaking the silence of the night. The family wept with her, but none felt the pain like she did. She pressed the letter to her heart, whispering, "I will never forget you, Zain. Never." From that day on, Alia carried his love like a flame in her soul. She fulfilled her dream of becoming a doctor, but every life she saved reminded her of the one life she could not, Zain's. His memory lived on in her prayers, in her work, in her every heartbeat. The lesson. Zain and Alia's story is not just about love, but about sacrifice. Zain taught us that true love sometimes means hiding your own pain to protect the one you love. But it also teaches us the value of life, the fragility of trust, and the importance of responsibility. That one careless mistake in a hospital cost a life, and with it, countless dreams. Alia's strength teaches us to carry love forward, not in grief, but in purpose. To honor the ones we lose by living fully for them. Because in the end, love never dies. It lives on in memories, in prayers, in the silent beating of the heart.
If you like this video, please subscribe and share. Thank you.